Welcome to Casense.
Imagine spending $200 million to film a massive sci-fi epic, hiring thousands of people, and building enormous practical sets. Then you finally sit down in the editing room to watch the footage, only to realize the plot is completely boring. Hollywood studios avoid this scenario by cutting a movie trailer first. By putting together a short, compelling preview, they can gauge audience excitement and make sure the core idea works before they greenlight the massive production budget. Yet, in business and software development, companies do the equivalent of shooting the $200 million movie every day. Teams routinely spend months building expensive products without ever testing if the customer actually cares about the final result. To prevent this kind of wasted effort, Amazon pioneered a product development framework called working backwards. The core rule of this framework is simple. Before anyone writes a single line of code or builds a prototype, the team has to write the product's future launch announcement. By reversing the normal order of operations, forcing teams to write the marketing material before they build the technology, you have to prove there is actual customer demand before a single dollar is spent. Before you can even start drafting this document, you have to identify the customer's core problem. To do this properly, you must deliberately ignore your current technical capabilities and focus entirely on the person you are trying to help. Once you know the problem, you write the first half of the document, the press release. This is a one-page launch announcement written in plain, everyday language, completely free of corporate jargon. There is a strict rule for this press release. If the announcement you've written is not genuinely exciting to read, the idea isn't worth building. You either rewrite the document until it sings, or you drop the idea entirely. If you survive the press release, you move to the second half of the document, the FAQs. This section acts as a strict reality check, and it's divided into external questions and internal questions. The external FAQ demands that you answer the exact questions a real customer or a reporter would ask. You have to clearly explain how the product works, how much it will cost, and exactly how the customer will use it. The internal FAQ is where you answer leadership's toughest questions. You have to be honest about how much it will cost to develop, whether the technology is even feasible, what the risks are, and the actual size of the total market. Writing this two-part document forces absolute clarity. You have to define both the exact benefit to the customer and the hard business reality before anyone commits to a build. Let's look at a software company called Northstar to see how this works. Their team was eager to build a highly complex, flashy feature they called an AI dashboard builder. Before building, the project manager sat down to write the press release. Immediately, a red flag appeared. When described in plain English, the actual benefit to the customer sounded vague and completely unexciting. This chart shows what happened next when they moved to the internal FAQ. By mapping out the business reality, the team discovered that the AI dashboard would be incredibly expensive to build, and worse, it was aimed at a very small target market. Faced with these facts on paper, Northstar shelved the AI dashboard. Instead, they wrote a new press release for a much simpler feature, a one-click report. The resulting press release for the one-click report read beautifully. It offered a clear, compelling benefit to the user, and the new FAQ proved it would be far cheaper to develop. Vetting these ideas on a single piece of paper surfaced a better product and saved the company from months of misdirected engineering. Working backwards is incredibly effective, but it has specific ideal use cases. You want to use it for vetting major new products, aligning your leadership team around a single vision, and killing weak ideas cheaply before they consume your budget. This diagram weighs when the framework works best against when it slows you down. You should not use this process for tiny, easily reversible decisions, or in moments where a quick, rough experiment will teach you more than a polished narrative. When teams do use the framework, they often fall into a few predictable traps. The first is writing the press release using dense corporate jargon, rather than the clear, simple language a customer actually speaks. The second major trap is skipping or softening the difficult internal FAQ questions. If you aren't rigorously honest about the cost, feasibility, and risk, the document loses its power as a reality check. The third trap is treating the PR and FAQ as a rigidly locked plan. It is meant to be a working hypothesis that your team actively edits, debates, and refines together. But the hardest hurdle is purely psychological. Teams have to accept that the majority of ideas should be rejected during this stage. It is a deliberate filter designed to catch bad ideas, not an automatic approval process. The overarching philosophy of the working backwards method comes down to this. If a concept cannot be sold on a single piece of paper, it does not deserve the resources to be built.